religious group leaders so they can counsel them on the existence of aliens, like bringing that to their congregation. So maybe I feel like they're trying to condition the world for some sort of like unveiling, but that would be really nuts, dude. I don't know how people would feel about that. I think a lot of people would like go crazy, go commit suicide, maybe even.
I mean, look at people's unwillingness to accept science already.
Yeah.
Right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Or global climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Deniers, you know what I mean? Like, no, a reveal would be just more conspiracy theorists and things coming out of the woodwork. Probably.
And what's crazy is I watched time-lapse Google images of 2002 to like 2022 of like Dubai and like Japan and like everything and everywhere the water is rising because it's global warming.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of shit is being like, and all of these people are starting to populate more. There's like 3 billion more people than there was in 1984, which is like that's a lot of people, dude. And like there's like no, poverty. I don't even think why aliens would want to come here though, dude.
Take it over?
Because there's no other planet with life in this vicinity.
That we know of. So.
Alright. Which leads to my next topic. Twilight Zone appreciation chat. When was the first time that you had your Twilight Zone experience?
Definitely when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Toddler. That's always been a big thing in my house.
Because of the music always freaked me out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the most iconic. It was a precursor to Tales from the Crypt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In a lot of ways. And in that formula, Rod Sterling,
I really love listening to Twilight Zone audiobook with Stacy Keach, which they just, they redid it in the 90s. But it's stories that were from the original stories, from the original broadcast. So it's just redone. But I really love the black and white series, and I feel like there's so many different genres of movies that just took from that show alone. Like, that show is just responsible for so many things in our pop culture.
The Outer Limits, all of these things.
Everything. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Sci-fi in general.
Yeah, like a lot of different things. Black Mirror, stuff that people can relate to now that they're just, there's people out there that don't even know about Twilight Zone, and then they dive deep into it and they're like, this is cool, Especially, shout out to Sci-Fi Channel. Every New Year's and New Year's Eve,
they do the Twilight Marathon.
I think they do New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
24/7.
Which is sick, dude, because that shows you how much stability that fucking and longevity, that replay value that show has, because it has so many different episodes, and some of them are still relevant to today.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff that they talk about is
just like with all horror, it's grounded in real world issues. So then that's why a lot of the things that we see, although they're done back in the 60s or
late 50s,
that era, it stays with you. Its message, like the layers are there, and that's why it has, like you said, the longevity. Beautiful show. I haven't listened to the radio.
Oh, it's awesome. I have one. How I found out about it was I found one CD at the swap meet, and it had Costanza and Lou Diamond Phillip and Shooter McGavin doing fucking voiceovers, telling stories about telling the actual Twilight Zone stories. And then I went online and I found them, and it's narrated by Stacy Keach, so it's pretty cool. And it has like sound effects and like different cast members, and like they all, it's like, it's a whole experience once you listen to it. I sometimes drive, but like, dude, it's really good. Maybe I'm just getting old.
No, it's really good. Shout out to Chris Pollock, who is a big, probably the biggest Twilight Zone fan I know.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sick, dude.
He loves it.
How old is that guy, too? He's going to be in his 40s or something?
He is 40, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong about this, 42, I believe, right now.
Christopher P., 42. Dang. Yeah, that dude knows what's up. Twilight Zone. He's the local projectionist, man. And if you had to choose Dark Knight or American Psycho?
What?
I gotta return some videotapes.
If it was going to be between those two, I would probably still choose The Dark Knight, because for a long time, American Psycho really, I liked it, but it made me uncomfortable for the first few years seeing it. I was like, yeah, I don't.
You don't get this.
I don't like that. I don't like that movie.
Yeah.
No, not that it was poorly made, or, the acting shitty, or just what happens in the movie. I was like,
you couldn't relate to it.
It felt like it was really grotesque because of what Christian Bale's character does. Patrick Bateman, Yeah. Until I figured out that it was a female director.
Yeah.
So it's coming from a female perspective. Then I was like, okay, I understand this.
And Patrick Bateman is based in the same realm and same universe as Sean Bateman, which is another fucking psycho kid guy.
Rules of Attraction.
From Rules of Attraction.
Yes.
And they're both crazy.
Same writer, right?
Yeah, so that's why he is able to get the money that he owes in that movie. He gets it through Patrick. That's why when he's all like, he gets a call from one of his dudes that's like all into him, and he's all like, who is this, Patrick? And he's all, Patrick? Who's Patrick? He's all, never mind. Because Patrick is his brother, Patrick Bateman. But I'd have to agree with you. For the longest, I didn't really get into American Psycho. I just knew it was widely sampled in a lot of hardcore music, and that it had a lot of hatred towards women. And it was very, I thought it was an old movie. I thought it was made in the 80s, but it's filmed to be like it was made in the 80s. So it kind of I wasn't really into it, So when I first saw it, I actually got it on DVD, and then I watched the behind the scenes before I watched the movie, which is like a whole documentary on Soho at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that thing?
No.
Dude, it's pretty crazy. It has a bunch of underground artists and
Is that available just on the DVD?
Yeah, dude, and it has the girl who made the movie, who directed it. It's the redhead,
Mary Harron.
Yeah, dude, and it has some other people that are in the movie, and it doesn't have Christian Bale, but it has a bunch of people that are she's people come up to me all the time and are like, that's me, I'm Patrick Bateman, and she's like, you're a fucking loser then if that's you, because that person is fucking a psychotic piece of shit, so I get it in the fact that it did its job when it kind of offended people, because they weren't they weren't into it, because it's this dude, the iconic image of the dude peeling his skin off of his face, but it's just him doing a mask.
Yeah.
Like a skincare mask, and then you just think of him torturing hookers, and it's all done in his brain. He does it in his mind. All of that shit is quote unquote controversial, done in his mind.
But also, I feel like it touches on, and before this was a popular thing, white privilege.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Massively, because if you've anybody, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, he calls his lawyer. And you are, one of the options that you are made to believe as a fucking movie watcher watching this movie is you have two choices. One, he called his lawyer and his lawyer took care of it. Or two, none of it ever happened.
Or because they just laugh and they're just like, haha, you're so funny. They don't believe him that he could actually do something like that because of who he is.
Because of who he is.
Right.
But also, the thing that set it off for me when I felt no, this can't be real, and he's kind of making it up as he goes, was when he was having the shootout with the cops, and he shot the cop car once and it blew up.
Yeah.
And he looks at his gun and he's like, wait a minute, I'm fucking tripping right now. And then he just walks in and he stabs the guy. No, he shoots the doorman. And I'm all like, yeah, no. And then the whole time, because it took me like 4 times for me to realize, like, no, he's just like, this is all made up. The thing that set it off for me, the last thing that I realized was, I was like, where's all the rest of the people? There's no, it's New York, dude. There's people everywhere in New York, no matter what time of day. There's nobody around. So it's all obviously in his head. But the fact that he was making it up in his head, and he could have went to his lawyer and said, hey, I did this, and they still didn't believe him, it's because he's white privileged.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I felt like that movie, when you watch the behind the scenes, she kind of makes it seem like, yeah, I'm doing it to show you that there's pieces of shit out here like this, and it takes a female director to make it glorified so you can relate to it, because you're an asshole guy that wants to be like Bateman, but there's really fuckers out here, and you're proving my point, saying, hey, I'm Patrick Bateman. And she's like, you're a fucking loser for being Patrick Bateman. If you're really him,
that you're that confident to go up to the filmmaker and be like, oh yeah, thank you, because I related to this grotesque human being.
Yes,
it's a red flag.
Yeah.
And that's the point of the movie.
That's the point of the movie. And I wonder if Christian Bale actually knew that. He must have, dude.
You know what? That was what shot him into stardom. He wasn't big. And I don't even think they wanted him. I don't know if you remember this in the featurettes or whatever, but I don't think they wanted him.
No, he was a second. I think he was like a second choice, because didn't they want Tom Cruise or some bullshit?
Or Nicolas Cage or somebody. I can't remember, but they didn't want him because he was not a big star. They were like, "This is
nailed it, though. He really did good."
Yeah.
I think that's one of his best roles. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a really good movie, but it's a really good shitty movie. You know?
Yeah, because it's letting you know that it's okay to like movies where there isn't like a clear, like a happy ending, or like you can tell stories where there's no good guys.
Yeah, you feel a certain way after you watch that movie, and a lot of people dug into that because it was relatable. Mm-hmm. You know, like you just feel miserable after watching that. Like there's a part in the film where I was like, I wonder if he really said this, or if he was thinking he said this, and I really think he said this because it plays on the whole, like, you know, is it real or is it not? Kind of like the Total Recall thing, where she was like, we don't accept drink tickets, cash only, and he's all, you're a fucking bitch, and I want to rip out your fucking guts. And then
he's saying it like all happy.
Yeah, like he says it like that, and she's all like, that'll be $12.
No, I think that's like inner monologue.
That's inner monologue, right? So to me, I felt like, hey, he could have really said that, and it wouldn't have made a difference. Like, so same thing with them doing coke in the bathroom. Like, it was that era where you can just do whatever the fuck you wanted because you had rich white money.
Or him freaking out over the fucking business cards being better than his. Right there, dude. Like, who the fuck?
He's like, Patrick, you're trembling. Get out of here, dude.
You got the white ivory.
He's all, look at that. Raised ink. Slightly tan on an eggshell white. He's all trembling. He's dropping the card. Patrick, are you okay? Yeah. That's what she was trying to say. Like, these people are so fucking psycho that they're losing their shit about a business card that's a white business card. Get out of here. And it's all just one, and he's all, I just got mine. And he's all raised French imprint vanilla or some bullshit. And he's all, should I be jealous right now? Like, the inner monologue just shows you how much of a douchebag person the average American goal setter, that's what you want to be. Mm-hmm. You know? And even the fact that his wife, you know, like Reese Witherspoon, she was kind of like disregarded as like, yeah, whatever, bitch, just make my wedding. Like, I don't really care. Like, Like, just handle it.
And she's like not in the movie barely at all.
Because it's symbolic to what real